In patch 25.10, Senna received some changes where her crit chance per 20 stacks and soul rate on minion and monster kills were increased while her Q AP ratio on her heal was decreased. These changes were made because her AD build was underperforming compared to her Enchanter build, and Riot wanted to make her viable as an AD carry again. After the changes, players have been testing tons of different runes and items for both AD carry and support to look for a new build. I have done my own testing and found a build for support Senna that incorporates the crit buffs well. This new build has a lot more damage and makes her more of a carry rather than an armor shredding support, which was her main function for her cleaver build. I'm going to go over my new build and talk about how we can update it into my Senna spreadsheet that I made a month ago. Let's start with the runes. For the keystone, we go Fleet with Presence of Mind, Alacrity, and Cut Down. The reason we go Fleet for this build is because the minor runes in the precision tree give us a lot more DPS compared to any of the other trees. Then for the secondary, we go Magical Footwear with my favorite, Jack of all trades. For the shards, we go Attack Speed, Adaptive, and Flat Health. There are some runes I flex for inspiration, but I'll get to that when we get to the flowchart. Now for the items. I thought of this specific build because I wanted to lean into the crit side of the buffs without having items that weren't too expensive. The only crit item that really makes sense as a first item is Collector. If we go down the line of crit items, I can explain. Shield Bow is decent, but I would rather have more damage than to be more tanky. For LDR, I think Cleaver is a lot better, and the game only lets you build one of these, so this is a skip. Rushing any Zeal item early is bad because you won't have any damage. Infinity Edge is too expensive, and the build path for needing a BF sword is too hard to achieve on a support budget. Mortal Reminder, same deal with LDR, Cleaver is just better. Essence Reaver feels a bit of a waste because Presence of Mind will carry you for your mana problems. Yuntal was the only other item I was considering, but the BF sword component feels bad, and also I think it doesn't make sense for Senna because her trading patterns are more of a hit and run style rather than constant DPS. After Collector, we go Cleaver and then RFC. When you are building RFC, make sure to get the Zeal portion first because you will hit 10 stacks of Jack of all trades and crit will be much more useful. Somewhere in between all of this, you want to get Boots of Swiftness with Bloodsong. After 3 items, I always keep my last slot open for a control ward and then I spam Elixirs of Wrath. This new build has a really nice power scaling curve. Collector will give you a lot of damage early, the crit buffs from souls will carry you as you build Cleaver, and then once you get Zeal, your Jack of all trades adaptive force kicks in, and at that point you'll most likely have 100% crit. You not only have a lot of AD, but you also shred armor while having a lot of range. Out of all my builds, this definitely has the strongest carry potential. The most important tip for this build is playing around fleet footwork in lane. The way it works is that moving and basic attacks generate charges, and once you're at 100, your next auto is energized, empowering your next basic auto attack to heal you and grant bonus movement speed for 1 second. Against minions, the healing is 15% effective. One mechanic you need to know is that if you use a minion to angle your Q to hit an enemy champion, Fleet will give you the full healing if it's at 100 stacks. You should be abusing this mechanic by constantly moving and making sure you know when you're at 100 stacks to either look for a trade or to try to Q snipe enemy champions. This mechanic is so broken and you can heal so much more than Grasp if you can cycle Fleet constantly by sniping enemies. Going back to the flowchart, the only thing I would swap is the Electrocute portion with the new Fleet build. I think that even though the Enchanter build was nerfed, it's still strong and the Grasp build is still good as nothing really changed. The Precision build changes when the enemy has lots of heals and shields where you need to build the anti-items for them. If the enemy has a lot of healing, I would go Executioners and still build Collector with Cleaver. If the enemy has a lot of shields, I would drop Collector, go Serpents, and still build Cleaver into RFC. Basically, if you need to build anti-heal or shield items, either replace Collector with Serpents or replace Zeal with Executioners. For the runes, we still go Precision with Inspiration, but we swap out Jack of all trades with Biscuits. You can get away with not having to build all of the anti-heal or shield items if your team has good champions that can build them. For anti-heal, that's usually going to be champions that have damage over time or most control mages, as Grievous Wound is additive for however long the burn is. For anti-shield, that's usually just any melee assassin, as the effectiveness for melee users is 50% compared to the 35% for range. That's my build and my updated spreadsheet. Give it a chance and you will not be disappointed. Thank you so much for watching and good luck climbing.